Doodlebug and Dandelion, Mystery of the Bandits. Who's been fooling around with my stuff? Doodlebug demanded one drizzly morning at breakfast. He glared at Cousin Rudy, who was staying with the Pinkleys for a few days, then eyed his sister Dandelion suspiciously. What in the world are you talking about, love? Mrs. Pinkley asked as she passed him a bowl of cereal. We wouldn't touch your super silly stuff, Dandelion shot back, and Rudy giggled in his agreement. My two little leather suitcases out on the back porch, Doodlebug explained. Someone keeps opening the suitcases and digging around inside them. I think stuff could even be missing. I know I had a half a turkey sandwich in there. That stuff out there? Dandelion rolled her eyes. I'm sure Rudy and I don't need any of your stuff. It's just balled up string and smelly old bottle caps. And we can make our own sandwiches in the kitchen. Then why are my suitcases always open every day when I go out there? And why are there all these scratches on them? You guys are ruining my stuff. Dandelion's eyes lit up. She loved a good mystery. Maybe we should do a stakeout, she suggested, to catch the culprit in the act. Sure, Doodlebug said, so you can pretend it wasn't you. We'll see, Dandelion said, crossing her arms. Won't we, Rudy? Yeah, Rudy replied excitedly. We'll see. That evening, while Doodlebug was up in his room with his nose buried in a comic, Dandelion was busy. She collected notebooks, pens, her camera, binoculars, and a giant flashlight. Then she and Rudy tiptoed past Doodlebug's closed door and down the hall to her parents' bedroom. The room was dark. Dandelion and Rudy knelt by the window, where they had a perfect view of the back porch. Dandelion handed Rudy a notebook and a pen. Okay, she instructed. We have to be really quiet, but don't take your eyes off the back porch no matter what happens. Write down anything you notice that's strange. Rudy's eyes got big behind his glasses. The room was practically swallowed up in the dark. Are we in danger? He asked. Not at all, Dandelion assured him. We just don't want anyone seeing us up here. She handed him the flashlight and showed him how to turn it on. Keep it pointed toward Doodlebug's silly old suitcases, and if I say, now, turn it on as quick as you can. Rudy nodded and aimed the flashlight as he was told. Over the next hour, Dandelion and Rudy waited patiently but did not see or hear anything on the back porch. To help the time pass, Dandelion recorded everything she thought was important in her notebook. Rudy scribbled some things too. Suddenly, Dandelion and Rudy heard something. Dandelion poked Rudy in the ribs and motioned for him to be quiet. They stayed still, eyes open. All of a sudden, they saw someone slowly approaching. Mrs. B, Dandelion whispered. Mrs. B was their next-door neighbor. She was old and mean. Rudy got his flashlight ready. Dandelion sat up on her knees and held her camera up, but Mrs. B just walked to the mailbox to get her mail. A little while later, Rudy was just dozing off when Dandelion heard a scratching sound that seemed to be coming from the back porch. What's that weird noise? She thought. She heard a soft squeal. She pulled the binoculars to her eyes. Through the lenses, she detected some shadowy movement. In the moonlight, she could see something moving on the porch. Was that a mask? Dandelion's eyes widened. She had a hunch who had been taking Doodlebug's things. She looked more closely, but she needed more light. Now, Rudy, now! Dandelion squealed, nudging her cousin away. Rudy popped up immediately and slammed the flashlight on. They both stared down at the back porch. Aha! Dandelion cried, bursting into giggles. I knew it! Wowee! Rudy yelled, almost dropping the flashlight. Later that evening, Dandelion and Rudy bragged that they'd seen the culprit red-handed, but they would not say more. Just give me a clue who it was, Doodlebug pleaded. Finally, Dandelion offered a tidbit. It looked like the thief was wearing a mask. Then I bet you don't even know who it is, Doodlebug grumbled. Do so, Rudy insisted. We'll prove it, too. He leaned toward Dandelion's ears and said softly, Let's make, and he whispered the rest. Dandelion grinned wide, then she nodded at Doodlebug. Okay, tomorrow at breakfast, you'll get your clue. In the morning, Doodlebug checked his suitcase again. Both were open. He was sure some trinkets were missing. He stomped into